us. We still see that people are joining the meeting, so bear with us. We're just going to give a few more minutes for people to hop on, and we will get started with our virtual college tour. All right, everyone. Welcome to ECMC's 4th virtual college tour. I see we have a full house today, so super excited. Welcome back for those of you who have joined us before. And for those of you who are new, welcome. We're happy to have you. I am Chevy Lowe from ECMC's TCP College Place, Colorado. And also with me, I have Monique from the California College Place. And I also have Tamika from the Virginia Alexandria College Place. So we're happy to be with you today. Our schools for this week, we have some fun schools, not that all the schools aren't fun, but this week we are doing the University of California, San Diego, the University of Colorado, Denver, and the University of Virginia. So before we hop into those, for those of you who are new, we want to tell you a little bit about ECMC's College Place and what we do. So we are a nonprofit that provides free college planning services for the states that we service. So like I said, I'm in Colorado, Tamika's in Virginia, Alexandria, and Monique is in California. We also have centers in Oregon. We have them in Minnesota, Virginia, on the Richmond side, and we also have them in Connecticut. So if you are in any of those places or know people in those places who might need free support, please feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you. So again, welcome, and we'll go ahead and get started with our first school, the University of California, San Diego, with Monique.
Press the wrong button. Hey, thanks so much. Good afternoon here in California. Just a little bit, just one line about the UC system. The UC system is a world-class public university system. There are 10 campuses in the state of California, and UC San Diego is our southernmost campus. So enjoy the tour.
Is an architectural icon that holds the largest collection of original drawings by its namesake, Theodore Geisel, who you might know better as Dr. Seuss. Our library offers 7 floors of comfortable places to work on your own or in groups. The higher you go, the quieter it gets. Geisel holds 5.3 million volumes and is electronically connected to all 10 UC campuses, giving you access to 40 million books. This is the second largest library system in the country, with the Library of Congress being number 1. The library's entrance displays Read, Write, Think, Dream, an art display that is part of our Stewart Art Collection, one of the most impressive collegiate public art collections in the country. As we enter Warren Mall, the heart of the Warren College neighborhood, we look up 7 floors to see Fallen Star, a permanent sculpture in the Stewart Art Collection, which appears to have landed or crashed onto our Jacobs Hall Engineering building. The small home was built from scratch and is fully furnished with electricity and a beautiful garden outside. Tours are offered weekly. The giant rock sculpture in this courtyard is Bear, another piece of the Stewart Art Collection. It was an engineering challenge, and now it's centered among 3 buildings that make up part of the Jacobs School of Engineering. Atkinson Hall is the home of the Qualcomm Institute, formerly the California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology. This is our very own research and development center for nanotechnology, photonics, biosciences, and cyberspace systems. Recreation facilities are all over campus. This is just one of them. Canyon View Center has a climbing wall for all skill levels, plus 2 Olympic-sized pools where our Triton swimming, diving, and water polo teams train. The rest of the time, the pools are open to the campus community. Our cross-disciplinary work comes to life every day in the Structural and Materials Engineering building. Enthusiastic students and award-winning faculty in the departments of Structural Engineering, Visual Arts, and Nanoengineering work side by side with medical device researchers from the UC San Diego Institute of Engineering and Medicine. Throughout the building, artists and scientists collaborate in classrooms, computer labs, and studios. Pepper Canyon Hall, one of the many lecture halls around campus, is located in the 6th College neighborhood. Here's the visual arts facility and performance space. Inside this courtyard are studios for graduate students. In the spring, all the MFA candidates hold open studios for the public. The Conrad Previs Music Center is home to musicians and engineering faculty and students who work together to create innovative new works. The center has computer music labs, rehearsal rooms, recording facilities, and performance spaces, including a 400-seat world-class acoustic concert hall. The Student Services Center is one of many green buildings constructed with recycled materials. You can handle most of your student business online, but sometimes you just need to stop by an office. Everything's right here, from financial aid to student business services, where you go for your ID card. The Raza Resource Centro and International Center are also housed here. The Centro is a lively space where students study, meet, write, get tutoring, and most importantly, are in community. The International Center hosts workshops and events to help students who are new to the area adjust to San Diego and the university. The I-Center, as it's called, it's also for any student who wants to study abroad. That's about 30% of our undergraduate students. The Price Center is the central spot for students, with 30,000 plus visitors every day. It is home to 15 restaurants, a market, campus bookstore, game room, study lounges, computer labs, conference rooms, theater, performing arts spaces, and a full-service salon, bank, and postal center. It also houses Associated Students, Center for Student Involvement, the Cross Cultural Center, Intertribal Resource Center, and much more. The mythological Triton, an ancient god of the sea, is UC San Diego's official mascot. And the Triton statue located in front of the Price Center is a favorite selfie spot. Here at Price Center Plaza, you can hang out, study, eat, and enjoy music and dance performances. The theater offers $3 movies to students. At our bookstore, you will find a complete computer store, a newsstand, medical school store, supplies for your classes and residence hall, Triton Spirit gear, and textbooks, of course, for rent or for purchase. Also, on the first floor is Amazon at UC San Diego, a fully staffed delivery and return location for all your Amazon orders, featuring free same-day pickup on millions of items. Center Hall is one of the major classroom facilities on campus with large lecture halls and smaller classrooms. 50% of the classes offered at UC San Diego have 50 students or less. The class sizes will depend on your major and your year. For some of the most popular majors, you'll be in big lectures for your lower division classes, with smaller discussion sections led by a graduate student. Upper division courses are taught in smaller seminars and discussions. Our LGBT Resource Center is one of the largest and most active LGBT organizations in the country. You can work for social justice, stay involved through list serves, learn from internships, and give back at community events. The Student Center is located in the Muir College neighborhood. Here, you'll find the Black Resource Center and the Student Veterans Resource Center, just some of the places to relax, study, and connect. Also check out the Bike Shop, the Treehouse Computer Lounge, Triton TV Station and Studio, and the General Store. The Women's Center is a comfortable space to learn about gender, diversity, and family issues. Open to all students, this space has a wonderful community kitchen, library, and welcoming living room. Jump into a pickup game at the main gym. Basketball, volleyball, martial arts, weights, cardio, our indoor pool, and the natatorium are all here. "64 Degrees" is a beautiful dining commons featuring a market and food stations featuring a burger lounge, deli, wok, tossed salads, and rotisserie specials. The Natural Sciences Building is filled with labs for research and teaching. It is home to the departments of Chemistry and Biochemistry, Physics, and Biological Sciences. UC San Diego is in the center of one of the top 3 biotechnology hubs in the U.S. Within a 2-mile radius of our campus, 24,000 scientists and researchers work on the world's most vexing problems. Pacific Hall is one of many science facilities on campus. The 7-story building is home to research in chemistry and biochemistry. More than 80% of the building is laboratory space, where students can get hands-on research experiences as early as their first year. The Triton Track and Field Stadium includes a 9-lane track surface, a world-renowned throwing facility, spacious locker rooms, and a weight room. Large grass fields and trails through the eucalyptus forest provide endless training opportunities for cross-country and track and field athletes. Athletes can also make use of the Alex G. Spanos Athletic Performance Center, a $4.3 million state-of-the-art center that opened in 2015. REMAC is our multitasking sports, recreation, and concert facility on North Campus, home to a weight room, fitness center, courts for racket sports, and activity rooms for dance and martial arts. Just outside REMAC is the softball field. Most of our 23 NCAA Division I Triton teams work out and play here. Peterson Hall is another centrally located lecture hall for larger classes. The entire east wall is a mosaic tile mural called Chicano Legacy 40 Años by San Diego artist Mario Torrero. UC San Diego's Cognitive Science program was established in 1986 as the first of its kind in the world. The program brings together more than 60 faculty members from the departments of anthropology, biology, communication, computer science and engineering, linguistics, music, neuroscience, philosophy, and psychology. Our School of Medicine neighborhood sits on 54 acres on the south end of the main campus. Most of the buildings you'll find in this area of campus are made up of classrooms and labs where students learn and perform medical research. Here in the theater district, we have 4 fully equipped professional theaters and shop facilities. The Mandel Weiss Theater is the largest venue, and it is home to the Tony Award-winning La Jolla Playhouse, founded in 1947. The Playhouse offers theater students hands-on opportunities to work on a variety of stages and with a professional theater company that frequently sends productions to Broadway. Other venues in the theater district include the Mandel Weiss Forum, which has a thrust stage and seats 400. UC San Diego's Department of Theater and Dance is one of the top 5 professional theater training programs in the country. The Wagner Dance Building has 3 studio spaces for movement and dance in both rehearsal and performance. You can major in either theater or dance or both, but classes here are open to all students on campus. This is Scripps Institution of Oceanography, the world's largest and most prestigious research institution for marine and earth sciences. Right on the beach, Scripps Seaside Forum is a multimedia conference center and is used for special events. Founded back in 1903, Scripps came to this spot 7 years later and played a major role in the founding of UC San Diego. As we walk across Paca Green, we'll see 2 buildings that are key to some of the research here at Scripps. Toward the right is Sverdrup Hall, where global energy solutions are worked on in its marine chemistry laboratories. Ahead of us is Bond Hall, with laboratories and offices covering a range of disciplines, including global climate change research. This is also where you'll find a library of ocean creatures, with millions of preserved specimens, from fish to plankton. The Scripps oceanographic collections are available to researchers around the world, including our students. Many students like to take a surfing break between classes. You can join the surf team, or take classes to learn how to surf, or just walk along the coastline and enjoy the beautiful ocean view. Since 1916, scientists have collected data about wave and climate conditions with instruments on Scripps Pier.
And that's beautiful UC San Diego. What do you think about that, huh? Such an eyeful. Let's give you some fun facts about UC San Diego that weren't shared. It's definitely a public university, and it's co-ed. And it's, like I said earlier, it's one of 10 of the UCs in California. It sits on about almost 2,000 acres. That's a pretty large and land size, as you can tell, bopping from building to building. And it's also large in terms of students. So it's about a little over 30,000 undergraduates, of which 49% are women. The admissions rate is about 34%, and the average GPA for the class of 2019 was between a 4.03 and a 4.28. And then the SAT middle 50% is between a 1320 and a 1510. And if you're taking the ACT, it's between a 28 and a 34. It runs on a quarter system. It has over 90 majors, the most popular being social sciences, biological life sciences, and engineering. And they also offer accelerated programs, honors programs, study abroad, student design majors, and internships. The mascot's a Triton, and they also offer choral groups, marching band, drama, theater, radio station, and a TV station, which I thought was pretty amazing. Admission requirements are the academic coursework, so it's a 15-unit A through G college prep work with a C or better. So that's history, math, English, science, language, visual performing arts, and a college prep elective. The minimum GPA for any UC, including UC San Diego, is a 3.0 to be eligible. Again, that's between the 10th and 11th grade in those college prep courses. And they have suspended the letter grade for spring of 2020. So for those students who are class of 2021, basically if you have a pass or a credit, it's be accepted as well, but it's not calculated into the GPA. For non-California residents, the minimum GPA for eligibility is a 3.4 in the same coursework. And they also offer extra points for AB, AP, IB, and they cap that at 8 semesters. So usually the SAT and the ACT with writing is required, and some subject tests if you're considering engineering or biology or the physical sciences, but UC temporarily suspending the standardized test requirement for the class of 2021 for freshmen. And the CSU application, the UC application is between August 1st and November the 30th. So if anyone's interested in applying, August 1st, actually the application will open. You can open it, you can begin to put in your information, but you won't be able to submit until November 1st, between November 1st and November the 30th. And the cost of attendance for in-state residents, the tuition is $14,480, and the whole cost of attendance with room and board, books, supplies, transportation, other expenses is $32,370. And then for out-of-state students, that will be a total of $62,124. Although living with your parents while attending UC would bring that down. And that's all I have for UC San Diego today. So up next will be Chevy out in Colorado. Take it away, Chevy.
Fantastic. Thank you, Monique. What a beautiful campus. Thanks for sharing that with us. So now we are going to the University of Colorado, Denver, where I am actually housed. So that's where my office is at. So when you come and visit me, you can come visit me here. This is where you can find me after COVID, of course. But anyways, so we are going to take a look at this beautiful campus, and right after I will give a little bit more information. Enjoy.
To connect more with their professors and their peers as well. Welcome to historic Larimer Street, the first main street of Denver. Founded in 1858 by General Larimer, this square has expanded throughout the years to what it is today. However, you can still see remnants of the previous tenants of these buildings by reading the historic plaques located on the side of each one of these buildings. They have held many businesses throughout the year, including a speakeasy, a dance hall, and more. Larimer Square is located right near our campus, and many of our students will flock to this area in between classes for a quick bite to eat, to meet up for a group project, or to just have some quiet study time off campus. With over 8,000 alumni and accreditation from the National Architectural Accrediting Board, the Planning Accreditation Board, and the Landscape Architectural Accreditation Board, our architecture school, the College of Architecture and Planning, at CU Denver is the only school in Colorado to offer comprehensive degrees in architecture, landscape architecture, and urban planning. We also offer summer camps, where students get hands-on experience working with our professors and staff. You can check out our programs, research, and designs by visiting our campus or going to our College of Architecture's main website. Right below our College of Architecture and Planning is our InWorks lab area. InWorks is our rapid prototyping lab and is available for all students to use. You just have to take a quick training course in order to utilize the space. Here, you can utilize our 3D printer, laser cutting, vinyl cutter, metal and woodworking gear, and more. InWorks also offers a certificate or minor in human-centered design and innovation and works with faculty from the Anschutz Medical Campus, which allows students to get experience designing, researching, and creating with multiple faculty and peers from across our institution. Our Lawrence Street Center building holds our School of Education and Human Development, our School of Public Affairs, and many of our administrative offices. Our School of Education holds our Next Gen Residency program, where students have paid internships that prepare them for their teaching program for early childhood, special education, and elementary education. We are also partnered with the Denver Public School Systems, which is the largest school system in Colorado, in order to place our students to get their teaching experience. Our School of Public Affairs offers multiple degrees in criminal justice and public affairs and consistently ranks #1 in the nation for multiple graduate school rankings as well. Our alumni have gone on to work in the court system, the FBI, and our own Mayor Michael Hancock was a graduate of the School of Public Affairs as well. Our business school is accredited by the AACSB, placing it among the top 5% of business schools in the world. From our one-year executive MBA program to our wide variety of undergraduate degrees, our business school's curriculum works to provide student experiences both inside and outside the classroom. Being located in the heart of downtown Denver means our students have access to internships with top Fortune 500 companies, allowing them to build connections with business insiders from day one. Our business school is currently undergoing a renovation to create the Jake Jab Center for Entrepreneurship, where students will be able to network with major business leaders through classes, speaking events, and more. This is the J.P. Morgan Center for Commodities, an area that simulates a commodity trading environment. This location boasts the largest number of Bloomberg terminal licenses west of the Mississippi River, meaning that large companies, including Xcel Energy, use this for their employee training. This area also allows our students to leave with the skills necessary to be successful in the highly competitive business world. The benefit of being in the city is your access to world-class experiences, including our Denver Center of Performing Arts. Just a short walk from campus, you can see off-Broadway performances and national tours, including shows like Hamilton, Frozen, Wicked, and more. Our Colorado Symphony and Colorado Ballet also perform here, and students can get discounted tickets for popular shows like our Harry Potter Live Symphony, the Nutcracker Ballet, and many more. Our next stop is our science building. Our science building houses many of our lab and classroom spaces for CU Denver. We will soon be breaking ground on a new building for our College of Engineering, Design, and Computing to be built in the next few years. Many of our research in science for our undergraduate students is run through our Eureka Work Study program, which allows students to gain experience working and researching alongside faculty and staff. Our labs are currently doing work in many different areas, including stem cell research, CRISPR genome editing, seed dispenser bird species, and more. Research doesn't have to wait until a student is in graduate school. We currently have undergraduate students working in our labs, from freshmen all the way to seniors. In fact, our last publication from one of our labs even included 3 undergraduate students published alongside their faculty member. Check out the link to the paper here. Our North Classroom building houses our College of Engineering, Design, and Computing, as well as our College of Liberal Arts. It is one of the primary classroom facilities for CU Denver students, but students may have class anywhere on campus. We also have one of our 3 CU Denver computer labs located in this building. As we mentioned earlier, our classroom size is an average of 27 students, with a student-to-faculty ratio around 17:1. Our classes are meant to engage students in the material they are learning and work to have them apply the material to real-world issues they may be working through after they graduate. Our Auraria Library is shared between all three campuses and with the general Denver public, but there is plenty of space for students to study and connect. Students can rent out whiteboards, sound equipment, and more. There are also over 250 databases online ranging from medical journals to interlibrary loan sites. In addition, CU Denver purchased the rights to all the PDFs in the library, so if it's ever snowing one day, you can just head to the online database and download your material. Our College of Arts and Media is located in our Arts Building. This college has numerous well-known alumni, including the lead singer of The Fray and one of the members of the band, The Flowbots, and also an alum who won an Oscar for his work on Disney's Frozen. From Emmy and Academy Award-winning alumni to students who have started their own recording business, our College of Arts and Media produces talented, educated graduates who are changing the game in their industry. This building houses our recording studios, art spaces, and more. Students can also record their own albums in these studios, and from metal albums to EDM, we have a wide variety of talented and experienced students. Take a department tour and come see our spaces for yourself. Our health center in the Plaza building provides on-campus health care, from basic cold medication to blood drives and immunization shots. Students do need to be covered by health insurance, whether it's through CU Denver, their parents, or their own health insurance coverage. Check out the health center's website for more information. Originally a Jewish synagogue, the Emmanuel Gallery is now an art gallery and is free for our students. It houses both student work and work from traveling artist exhibits and holds different events throughout the year. Our student artists can even display and sell their artwork, and we've had students sell their artwork from hundreds to even thousands of dollars. We highly recommend stopping in to view our amazing rotating artwork. The Tivoli Student Union is shared with all three institutions. Here you can find the Office of Veteran Affairs, Student Life, and our Links Connect Center, where students can learn more about study abroad, get career help, and apply for internships and jobs. There is even a cafe area downstairs, as well as our main Tivoli bookstore, where students can get their books and college gear. Before it was a student union, the Tivoli was also a brewery. A few years ago, some faculty and community members came together and got the original recipes from the brewery and revitalized the brewery area. Today, it is a thriving brewery where you can grab a bite to eat and one of our many rotating taps. There's even a brewery science program where students can learn more about the brewing process. Campus Village is our main CU Denver student housing. As a freshman, you can choose to live on campus at Campus Village, or you can choose to rent elsewhere or live at home or with family and friends. We do not require that our students live on campus during their time at CU Denver, so that way our students can save money if they would like to. We will be breaking ground soon on our next residence hall, so stay tuned for more information on when that will be opening. Campus Village also houses our main on-campus dining hall. Students who don't live at Campus Village can still get a commuter meal plan, so that way they can enjoy our wonderful meal stations and buffets. Our current room options at Campus Village include studios all the way up to 4 bedrooms. Campus Village also has a roommate matching service offered to its residents, so if you are worried about finding a roommate, this service can help you match with other CU Denver students who may be more compatible with your living needs. We also have 12 resident assistants who live on campus with the students and are available 24/7 if a student should ever need anything. At CU Denver, every CU Denver student gets a RTD and light rail pass that's included in their tuition. The RTD and light rail pass that our students receive takes you straight to the Denver International Airport and allows you to access any of the RTD bus routes and light rail systems. With the ever-expanding RTD and light rail systems, you can take it anywhere from Boulder to Denver, to outside of Denver and beyond. This is a great option for our students who are worried about transportation. You're more than welcome to bring your own car to campus, and we do sell parking passes to our students, but having the RTD and light rail pass allows you to utilize our public transportation for free as a student here at CU Denver. As we mentioned before, the RTD and Light Rail Pass allows our students to be taken straight from the heart of CU Denver to the Denver International Airport. So if you are an out-of-state student, an international student, or just a big travel fan, you have access to our state's largest airport with your pass. Completed in 2018, the Lola and Rob Salazar Student Wellness Center incorporates all major parts of wellness, including the physical, mental, and spiritual parts. From our swimming pool, outdoor adventure area, and lounge spaces, our students use this building as a hub for many activities during their time at CU Denver.
Okay, thank you for that. So I see some of I know they were updating their virtual tour, so I know some of the things were out of order there. What I think everyone missed in the beginning, and you may have heard it as they were talking about the tour, that some of the spaces were shared with 2 other schools. So just a little bit about CU Denver. As you can see, it's in beautiful downtown Denver. However, the campus is shared with 2 other institutions, so the Community College of Denver and Metro State University. So they're all on one campus, while each campus has their own little section. Some of the spaces are shared, as she mentioned in the video, like the Tivoli, the library, and the health center, and some of the churches and things around campus. So some of those are shared. So that's what they were referencing when they said the other schools. Also, the University of Colorado Denver is part of the University of Colorado system. So last week you heard us do University of Colorado Boulder, and then there's also the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. This is the campus that is in downtown Denver. More or less known as the commuter campus. So if you're looking for something more in the city with a little bit more access, this would be a fantastic campus for you. So the admissions here is pretty straightforward. It does not require the same application as CU Boulder, which is the Common App. You can do it right on the University of Colorado Denver website. The average GPA for a student at the University of Colorado Denver is about 3.5. And like I said, it's just a really basic application. And once you get admissions, they will give you further instructions. As far as tuition goes, so tuition for an undergrad resident on average is about $10,000 a year, just a little under $10,000 a year, and that's not with housing, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And if you're a non-resident looking to come to the University of Colorado Denver, it's about $26,000 and $47 per year. So both of those numbers were per year. For the housing, even though this is a commuter campus, they do have housing. The first one that they mentioned was Campus Village. So this tour is, some of the things are a little bit older. They've actually renamed Campus Village to Links Crossing. And then in fall of 2021, as you heard her mention, that they were doing a new housing, which they are, and it's going to create a space for first-year students. So that will be open in fall of 2021, and it'll be just for first-year students only, and it's actually on campus. So I don't know if you guys, where this picture is, actually, if you look kind of where that grassy knoll is, just if it came forward a little bit, that's actually where the new housing is going to be. So it's going to be actually right on campus. Whereas Links Crossing, otherwise known as Campus Village, it's actually off campus, but they do have a shuttle that will take you back and forth, and it comes on a rotating basis quite frequently. So that's how you would be able to do that. On average, housing is about from $3,300 per semester to about $6,100 per semester, depending on the room and style that you choose. Okay, and this can be added onto your tuition, and meal plans are required for first-year students. After that, the meal plan is up to you. So that would be the only thing that's required your freshman year from the housing is the meal plan. And I know they give some flex bucks too to be able to use in that Tivoli that they were talking about. On the lower floor, there's a cafe with different foods all the way from Hawaiian barbecue to Subway to McDonald's, all the above, and you can use some of your flex dollars down there as well. Also, for those of you who are out of state or who may be West Coast, on the West Coast, we have something called the Western Undergraduate Exchange. So CU Denver is a partner in this. So if there are any students from Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, North Dakota, or South Dakota, who is interested in attending this university, you do get a discounted tuition. So it would not be as expensive as the non-resident tuition. And you can inquire and see that on their website, as well as scholarships opportunities. They have a fantastic scholarships department here that's always willing to help. So I hope you enjoyed your tour today of CU Denver. Next, we have up Miss Tamika from Virginia and Alexandria.
There we go. Hello, I am Tamika, the the College Place Alexandria director, and I'm really excited, as you can tell, to introduce you guys to my alma mater, the University of Virginia. It's a beautiful campus. It is one of the top-ranked public schools in the nation, following close behind UCLA and UC Berkeley. So I'll start with a short video about the school, and then we'll move into the tour soon after. So welcome to Whoville.
I think I came into the university with a limited perception of myself, not sure who I was. The challenges that UVA presents, they've solidified my sense of identity. It's a contagious energy around the university of people wishing well for each other and for themselves.
They push themselves and they push the people around them to be the best version of themselves.
The best thing about UVA is providing a space for growth.
Giving power to the students to make the university what they will.
This place has given me confidence to make change. The opportunities students have here through student self-governance to be kind of wave makers. I've gotten to be a part of something bigger than myself.
You have Go Who's or Wahoo Wah as a mantra for the student body, which really transcends any difference.
Anybody sends it to Hunter. Hunter catches, fires from three for the win. Oh! It's off the backboard.
Welcome to Charlottesville, Virginia, home to the University of Virginia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and my favorite place. Before we get started, let me explain the many ways you can explore all that our grounds have to offer.
Here stands the Galt statue of Thomas Jefferson, sculpted in 1861 and said to look so much like Jefferson himself that when it was unveiled to the public, his granddaughter fainted. Once revived, she exclaimed, "Add red hair and freckles and there stands my grandfather." The rotunda has housed the statue since, surviving 3 renovations and a fire in 1895 where students saved the 2-ton artifact using a mattress. Thomas Jefferson founded UVA in 1819. At the center of his university stood this building, the Rotunda, which served as the original library. Today, the Rotunda holds classrooms and study spaces and serves as the historic heart of UVA.
Thomas Jefferson believed a university should not be a house, but a village. His design for UVA became known as the Academical Village, where students and professors lived amongst one another. When UVA opened in 1825, professors each lived and taught their classes in one of the 10 pavilions, while students lived in the neighboring rooms. While our student body has outgrown these rooms, classes are still taught in Pavilion 8, and students can apply to live here on the lawn. It is here you will gather for the first time with your entire class for convocation, and then again for a final time at graduation.
Built in 1896, Old Cabell became one of the first academic buildings outside of the original Academical Village. Inside its grand auditorium is a copy of Raphael's School of Athens, which was presented as a gift from an alumnus in 1902, as well as an organ that Andrew Carnegie gifted the university in 1906. Fittingly, Old Cabell houses the Department of Music and hosts over 200 performances per year. The music department is part of the College of Arts and Sciences, one of UVA's 7 undergraduate schools. The other schools are engineering, architecture, nursing, commerce, public policy, and education. We'll expand on these schools throughout the rest of the tour.
Now Gibson houses the History, Religious Studies, and Politics departments. This building includes both large lecture halls like the one shown and smaller classrooms. Now Gibson is a great representation of varying class sizes at UVA. While there are large introductory courses, 55% of our classes have fewer than 20 students. Larger lectures are also paired with smaller discussion sections of about 15 students where you can work closely on class material with a teaching assistant. Professors welcome students into their office hours, and many professors even host students in their own homes. UVA also pays for student-professor lunches through the Take Your Professor Out to Lunch program.
McLeod Hall is part of the School of Nursing and houses some of the coolest facilities on grounds, simulator labs. These are hospital setups with patient dummies who have blood pressure, a pulse, and can even give birth. McLeod also has its own convenient lunch spot for nursing students and faculty. The nursing school is part of the UVA health system, working alongside UVA Hospital and the Emily Curritt Cancer Center, providing undergrads hands-on experience and summer research opportunities. Here, students engage in clinical experiences in their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years of the program and share in a close-knit community that stems from small, intimate classes.
Welcome to The Corner, a 7-block collection of restaurants and shops right next to UVA grounds. Due to its location, The Corner remains active at all hours, as many students grab lunch with friends, read at coffee shops, or play foosball at the Student Study Lounge 1515, a space that was actually designed by students. A 5-minute trolley ride takes you to the Charlottesville Downtown Pedestrian Mall, a great place for students to immerse themselves into the vibrant community. You can visit the local farmers market, attend a concert, or just stroll past the many historic buildings.
The School of Architecture wasn't constructed until 1970. However, Jefferson intended for the original university to be a 3D textbook of architecture. Today, the A School offers a diversity of courses from digital storytelling to lessons on the lawn, which actually studies our Jeffersonian architecture. The A School integrates a liberal arts model, allowing students to apply their disciplines across fields and to community engagement projects. For example, students have been involved with historic preservation projects around Charlottesville and even helped with the restoration of the Rotunda. In addition to hands-on professional experience, students also benefit from the state-of-the-art facilities, open studio desks, wood shops, laser printers, a digital media lab, and more.
This is the Fralin Museum of Art, part of the University of Virginia. The space is open to students as well as the public and houses a collection of approximately 13,000 objects, from ancient Mediterranean art to 15th century sculptures. Students can see exhibits for free during Final Fridays, a monthly showcase of the arts at UVA, including exhibits, performances, and lectures. Past exhibits have included Andy Warhol's icons and Emilio Sanchez's cityscapes. Students can also get more involved at the Fralin by working as docents and leading tours of the museum. Artistically inclined students can also pursue majors in studio art and art history.
In case you're worried about finding the perfect study space, UVA has 13 libraries, each with different book collections and study atmospheres. This is the McGregor Room in Alderman Library, often referred to as the Harry Potter Room. This charming study spot also has a rich history, as its visitors include speakers like Robert Frost and William Faulkner, and it held the U.S. Constitution for the National Archives during World War II. All of the libraries are great research resources, both in person and online. They also have computers and printing stations, and with a collective inventory of millions of volumes, students can be assured they will find what they're looking for.
This is the amphitheater, a venue for student fashion shows, movie screenings, rallies, or just a casual lunch with friends, as it is conveniently located by many food trucks. One of the largest events that occurs here is the Fall Activities Fair. Extracurricular activities thrive at UVA, where we have hundreds of diverse clubs that gather to encourage new students' participation. What makes all of our organizations unique is their independence. Organizations are founded, organized, and led by students with little to no administrator control. We call this concept student self-governance and are proud of the freedom it gives us as students to impact UVA and Charlottesville.
This is Dawson's Row, a collection of buildings that provide resources for African American students. First, there's the Office of African American Affairs, which provides a supportive network for Black students. OAAA's Peer Advisor Program gives incoming Black students a mentor to help them transition to university life, whether it's scheduling classes or having them over for dinner. There's also the Luther Porter Jackson Black Cultural Center, which holds events to enrich the cultural knowledge of African American and African people. Outside of Dawson's Row, there are many resources for historically underrepresented students, like the Office of Diversity and Equity and the Multicultural Student Center, a space we will soon visit.
Rice Hall is located at the end of Engineers Way, the heart of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, E-School for short. The E-School has 9 undergraduate majors, allowing students to explore a range of interests. Much like the other schools at UVA, the E-School is committed to providing a cross-disciplinary education, as professors and students alike use research grants to study childhood diabetes, regenerative medicine technologies, and ways to solve traffic congestion. Furthermore, more than 50% of our engineering students earn minors in fields such as engineering business and entrepreneurship. Students also have access to cutting-edge technologies, including a 3D printing lab and a flight simulator.
Welcome to Scott Stadium, home of the Cavalier football team. UVA has 23 Division I varsity sports, boasting over 20 NCAA national championships and countless Olympic appearances. UVA students get free admission to all home games, and the Who Crew, our energetic student section, hands out fan gear to draw the crowds. Basketball games are a fan favorite, and students go crazy cheering on the Who's at John Paul Jones Arena, pictured below. Aside from varsity athletics, students can also play on one of our 60 club sports teams, compete in casual intramural games such as intertube water polo, or stay in shape at one of UVA's 5 athletic complexes.
This is the Alderman Road residence area, one of 3 first-year living areas. All first-year students live together on central grounds. Most dorms have double rooms arranged in halls, each with an upperclassman resident advisor and a shared bathroom. Other setups offer single rooms or suite-style living. Dorms are co-ed and floors are generally separated by gender, with gender-neutral housing also available. 2 grassy quads provide space for students to play frisbee, grill, or study on a sunny day. Dorms also elect leaders who plan dorm and class-wide events throughout the year, like first-year formal or a dorm Super Bowl watch party.
This is the International Residential College, one of several residential communities where students can apply to live. 40% of IRC residents are international students, and all of the students share in their desire for global awareness. The 300 undergraduates that live here range from first through fourth years and make up a close-knit community that infuses academics and social life. The IRC is an enriching experience, as many residents are involved in the IRC Student Council, participate in their peer mentors program, and travel together to international destinations. UVA offers other residential colleges, such as the Language Immersion House and the Hereford Sustainable Living Community.
This is Newcomb Hall, the university's student center that houses a variety of resource offices and serves as a hub of student self-governance. Inside is the Cavalier Daily office, which produces the student-run daily newspaper. The University Programs Council also has their office in this building, where they plan events like the Teeny Tiny Petting Zoo and open mic nights. Newcomb also houses the Student Activities Center, which has resources for students interested in starting their own organizations. Lastly, the university's trial room is on the 4th floor, where our student-run honor and judiciary committees handle violations of university policy to maintain a community of respect, safety, and freedom.
Newcomb also includes the Multicultural Student Center and the LGBTQ Center, collaborative spaces supporting underrepresented communities through a wide array of initiatives and events. Students can reserve spaces in Newcomb for meetings and receptions. In addition, Newcomb is one of the 3 main dining halls on grounds, where a range of meal plans are offered to meet dietary and personal needs, such as the Ramadan meal plan. Separate from the main dining hall are Chick-fil-A, Subway, and Five Guys, which all accept UVA meal plans. No matter their interests or involvements, students are sure to make their way to Newcomb to eat, study, or just hang out with friends.
Inside Peabody Hall is the Office of Undergraduate Admission. It is here that you can call with questions about UVA and the application process. It's been a pleasure to show you around our grounds. Giving tours to prospective students is just another example of student self-governance, how I try to make my impact on the university, and one of the ways I have made a home for myself here at UVA. Although this is the last stop on our virtual tour, we hope Peabody is the next stop in your college application process, as we invite you to visit our grounds to see if UVA is a place you could call home.
Well, that is the University of Virginia. As they said in the tour, it was founded in 1819 by Thomas Jefferson, who we all know is the 3rd president of the U.S. And essentially, he attended the College of William and Mary, because that's the oldest school in the state. He attended the College of William and Mary, but because William and Mary has such a religious focus, he decided to start his own school that didn't focus as much on religious practices. So that's how he founded the University of Virginia. And so since 1819, the school has flourished. It originally had created satellite campuses in Northern Virginia, Northwestern Virginia, and Southern Virginia. The Northern satellite campus became George Mason University. The Northwestern campus became University of Mary Washington, and the Southern campus is still University of Virginia Wise. They were also instrumental in getting the land grant that was provided by the state of Virginia in order to found Virginia State University down in Central Virginia. A little bit about UVA admissions. They accept the Common App. They don't have an independent application through their website. You actually have to go on the Common App website to complete it. For early decision and early action, the deadline for applications is November 1st. Just for clarity, early decision is binding. So if you apply early decision, and you are accepted, then you are required to attend the school. Early action is not binding though, but both the deadlines are November 1st. Regular decision deadline is January the 1st. 90% of admitted students are from the top 10% of their graduating class, and UVA has a 26% acceptance rate. Application components that are used to make an admissions decisions about students include a complete, comprehensive, rigorous high school transcript. The average GPA for entering freshmen last year was a 4.32 GPA. But they say they have a range of a 4.1 and up required for admissions. The school is test optional, but that being said, the average ACT reported from entering freshmen last year, first year students last year, was between a 30 and a 34. The average SAT score for entering first year last year was between 1340 and 1520. Also, for completed applications, students have to submit letters of recommendation, one from a counselor and one from a teacher in a core subject area. It has to specifically be a teacher who is in math, science, English, or social studies, or history, whatever type of social science. They also require a mid-year report to be submitted to the school by February the 15th after the end of your first semester in high school. Lastly, UVA requires three essays for every student. Depending on your school of study, is 7 schools of study, there is one standard essay for that school. But then after that, there's a list of like 8 essay prompts that you can choose from. So you have that one required one for the school, and then you can choose of the 8, but in total, you're gonna submit 3 essays. Each of them are about 250 words in length, so it's not super long, but you do have to do 3 different essays. I made the correction earlier about first year and freshman, because at UVA, we don't say freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. It has historical implications for us. Thomas Jefferson believed that you cannot be a senior in education because a senior would mean that you maxed out, but that you should number your years while you're in school. So while you're on grounds, we also don't say campus. While you're on grounds, you will hear people use the language of she's a first year, she's a second year, she's a third year, up through 5th year, because there are some 5-year programs. And then in graduate school, we just call them graduate students. The cost of tuition for UVA for an in-state student for just tuition is $16,640. Total cost of attendance is $29,219. For out-of-state students, total cost for just tuition is $49,940, but the total cost of attendance is $62,137. UVA also offers incredibly competitive financial aid packages, particularly to students whose family income is $80,000 or less. They will receive a financial aid package that meets full need. So that may include the federal loans, but beyond that, you're receiving grants and scholarships from the federal government, the state of Virginia, as well as the university. So that is UVA. I want to thank everyone for joining us on today's tours of UC San Diego, UC Denver, I almost said Boulder, UC Denver, and the University of Virginia. You're definitely able to ask any questions that you like. We'll hang around. For those of you who don't want to ask questions, thank you for joining us. If you want to know more about ECMC or the College Place, I encourage you to go on our website, ecmc.org, and then hit that Student Educator tab. There you will get some of our phenomenal online resources. You can find out about all the TCPs. They're listed under the College Access Centers tab, and then also some online resource guides that we have available to help folks plan and pay for college. So thanks again, and we'll be around. Chat room. The average GPA for UVA is 4.32. Does UVA accept transfers to Nova? Yes. And if your plan is to transfer to UVA from Nova, meet with the transfer specialist at Nova to make sure that you're in the appropriate major, so that when you do transfer into the University of Virginia, you start as a third year and not as like a second semester first year or first semester second year. So work with the transfer coordinator at Nova. What is the average GPA at UC San Diego, Monique?
Let me unmute myself here. It's between the minimum GPA to apply is a 3.0, but the average GPA for admissions for the class of 2019 was between a 4.03 and a 4.28. It doesn't mean if you have a 3.0 or 3.5, you shouldn't apply, because they do what they call holistic review. So they're looking at everything, not just your GPA. They're looking at your essays, they're looking at where you stand in your school, a whole bunch of other things they're looking for. So don't feel like, oh, I only have a 3.8 GPA, I shouldn't apply. You should definitely apply.
There's a question about how many majors the UVA offer. And I am looking for the answer right now as, so I'll give you the answer in just 1 second. It says over 160. Over 160 majors. What would the 3 essays at UVA be about? Well, the first essay has been the same since I applied. Depending on your school of study, that first question is the same. Because I applied to the school, the College of Arts and Sciences, which is the liberal arts school, my question was, which piece of art, writing, architecture, I forgot the details of it, but actually it's on the website. Like what piece of art and architecture moved me, inspired me, challenged me? It's a very loaded question. I can look them up, and then it's 8 others that you can choose from. I remember my question, one of the questions that I answered is, if I could look out of my window and change anything, what would it be and why? And then also, what's your favorite word and why?
So these are admissions questions, Tamika?
Yeah.
So do they change every year, or are they kind of the same?
The ones for the schools,
yeah,
they say that I haven't seen a change in those since when I applied. The other ones though have been like recycled in and out. Some of them stay because they have like intriguing answers, like what's your favorite word and why, but some of the other ones that don't really get much traction.
Maybe we can send that out in the email to them, just a link to the essay questions.
Definitely.
So the UC system, either Santa Cruz or San Diego or any of the other ones, do not offer early admissions or early decision. It's just regular decision, which is early enough because it's in November anyway. But applications do open August the 1st. You can start filling it out, and you can actually submit between November 1 and November 30th. And November 30th has pretty been a hard, fast deadline. So University of California, I can say a little bit about, they do offer a blue and gold plan for families making, I think it's less than $80,000 a year. They have extensive scholarships and financial aid. Beyond that, you have school type financial aid or scholarships that you can apply to. But the biggest thing is the Blue and Gold plan. Some of the scholarships, like the Fiat Lux scholarship, actually will cover all costs. It's usually for low-income first-generation students, and it's a competitive application process that includes an interview.
Yeah, and for CU, they have a variety of scholarships. They have departmental scholarships. They actually have a really cool scholarship for rising sophomores. It's called the Reicher Scholarship. That once you're there, if you maintain, I think, a 3.0 and you meet the other qualifications, you could be eligible for that scholarship. And it actually does full cost of attendance after that point. So that's a cool scholarship for once you already get in the university and do a full year. But they have a ton of scholarships. I mean, they have everything. They have funders who even fund students with disabilities. They have funders who fund students for academics. So their scholarship, they have a really, really good scholarship website that has all of those scholarships available on there for you. So if you just go, and it's super easy to find, if you go to financial aid and scholarships, you can just click that link and it'll pull it up for you. Usually their scholarship site usually opens up, I want to say November-ish, and then their deadline is usually around March 15th or so. So I'm not sure if that's for all the schools. I know CU Denver, so we're linked depending on your major. If you are like a biology major, we are linked with the Anschutz campus, which is the University of Colorado Medical System. So you could do that there, and CU Boulder, I also know, has it. But yes, if you, they do have that type of program where you can study that if you do end up at the Anschutz campus.
And for the UCs, they have, well, San Diego has, you know, over 90 majors. A lot of the UCs have to do with, I'm pretty sure that San Diego, I don't have it off the top of my head, whether San Diego has genetics, but they definitely have the biological sciences, and just, they have so many majors. There's over 800 majors just in the UC system alone. So I'm sure some of them, if not UC San Diego, definitely has genetics. And then the application process is, you know, you kind of log in and you create an account, and you'll have some information about yourself and maybe your parents. You know, for California, they're going to ask how long have they lived in California, because I want to know if they're a California resident. It usually has, I mean, in a typical college application will ask you about your extracurricular activities. Some will require a scholarship. In these cases, in the UC, it's just a listing. How many weeks per year, how many hours did you dedicate to your different extracurricular activities? And then it'll go on into any honors and awards. Have you had any jobs? All that kind of stuff. And then it'll go into, for the UCs, it'll go into the personal insight questions, which are 8 questions. 4 of which you will choose. They're 350 words each. And I will be doing a workshop just on personal insight questions in the beginning of August.
As far as UVA, they don't have a specific major in genetics. They have human biology that I'm sure you can like focus on genetics, but they don't have a specific genetics major, no. And what to expect for the application process. I mean, it's pretty much general across the board. Like, you'd have to complete the application online, make sure all the pieces of the application are there, submit it on time. And just be really thoughtful in your essay responses. They don't want your resume. They don't want a list of activities. They're literally taking your transcript, your SAT score, ACT scores, if you choose, because the school is test optional. So a student could just have their transcript, their 3 essays, and then letters of recommendation to speak for them. So you have to really you have to be thoughtful about the information you include in your essays to see if they speak to the things that you care about and things that you value, and how it aligns with the mission of the school. What are the schools? I know UVA has ROTC programs, and I've had friends who participate in Air Force and Navy ROTC. And so if you wanted to participate at a collegiate level, it's definitely encouraged. I mean, it's the way students pay for school. If you're asking, do they value it on an application? Sure, it's a form of extracurricular activity, so. No problem.
CU Denver does consider scholarships based on the application. There's a couple of scholarships for freshmen. There's an academic, like I think it's like the presidential scholarship. And then there may be a freshman one too, if I can recall, that's based on your application. So you wouldn't have to necessarily apply for it. If they see that you have certain qualifications, then you get that, it'll be applied to your account. But other than that, you would have to go in and apply for scholarships. But there are a few that they will acknowledge just based on your application and transcript and things like that.
And I would say that's the same for UC. It's called, I think, a school university grant, and that's based on your application and your financial aid award and where the need would be.
UVA is pretty similar. We have some, what I call elite scholars programs on campus. The Jefferson Scholars are the students who actually apply early decision, and those students tend to have like written books and built cars from scratch, and they just have some pretty impressive resumes. And they're invited on campus early. They make a decision, but they get a full ride. And then they have Echo Scholars, which they get a considerable amount of assistance as well through scholarships. Also for African American students is the Ridley Scholar Program, and that is determined based on your application as well. Beyond that, any funding that you receive from UVA will be essentially need-based. So outside of those three programs, they make a decision. Because their admissions requirements are so rigorous, beyond those three programs, it's kind of like, you know, who needs the money? Sure. Are there any direct links to NASA? I'm not sure. I know UVA has an aerospace engineering program that's super popular, but I don't know if there's a specific connection to NASA. There may be one at Mason because it's closer, but I'm not sure. Closer to DC is why I said that, but I'm not sure. Do you know if your campuses?
Well, according to the website, UC San Diego School of Medicine has a NASA lab in the section of psychology in the Department of Medicine.
Mm.
I know, huh?
That's cool.
Not too bad.
So for CU Denver, not specifically, but the University of Colorado Boulder, they have sent experiments and instruments to every planet in the solar system, is what it says. And 52 space missions, NASA spacecraft have launched hundreds of instruments from CU Boulder, as well as 20 CU scientists. And they have one from CU Anschutz, which was the one that I told you was down here in Denver. So not direct links, but it looks like they do have people who work with them and send things to them. So it's a good plug.
What is a computer science program like at UVA? The computer science program is through the School of Engineering. Anybody in the E-School, they just kind of go ghost because we don't really see them at all. They're super engrossed. They have a different type of curriculum than the rest of grounds. That's one of those majors where you have to declare going in the door because of the type of coursework they're taking over the 4 years. But I do know it's in the School of Engineering. Folks from that program have gone into anything from graphic design, like computer-based graphic design, computer coding, information systems, but it's not just like the basic, like these are actually like building computer programs from the ground up, folks who are in that program.
Going back, I don't know if the student, I don't know if Avalon is still on here, but I actually stand corrected. I needed to go down a little bit more. So even though not CU Denver, but CU Boulder is actually the top NASA funded university in the world. So I stand corrected. So they have the laboratory for atmospheric and space physics, and they're ranked one of the top 5 US universities for that.
The more you know, I tell you.
The more you know.
Are there media studies? I can look, but I will tell you one thing. UVA is a very traditional liberal education school. So if you can't tell by looking around on the campus, like its historic heritage is very reflective in the curriculum. it takes a long time for like some of the new, more progressive majors to get there because they're just really steeped in history. So I will look to see if they have media studies as a major. I know they have different forms of media as a major, but I don't know specifically about media studies, but I'll let you know in just 1 second. Media.
I know Monique has to hop off. Are there any other questions about the University of California and San Diego before she hops off?
Yes, it's a media studies program. Because all of these schools are public schools, there isn't a religious atmosphere. State-funded schools cannot ascribe to any type of religious preference because of the separation of church and state. But that being said, there are different clubs and organizations on the campus that are gatherings of people who share religious beliefs, who share ideologies. So as someone who is LDS, as you said, Avalon, I'm sure you could have an opportunity to connect. That is a question I definitely think you should ask an admissions counselor though at the school to find out what types of services and supports are there for other students who may be LDS as well.
So I'm gonna hop off as you all explain the liberal arts school. If there aren't any other questions for UC San Diego, I will be sending the important links for admission requirement, admission for COVID for class of 2021, and financial aid, and the link to the actual tour to Tamika, and Tamika will send it out to everyone who's registered. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thanks, Monique.
Thanks, Monique.
What is a liberal school? Are you asking what's a liberal arts school?
Arts and stuff, yeah.
A liberal arts school essentially is a school that focuses on the humanities. So we don't know yet what the schools for next week are. Avalon, you'll know on Friday when we send out the email. But yeah, it's schools that it's a section of the school that focuses on the humanities. So people who major in philosophy, psychology, anthropology. I was a history major, political and social thought double major, government, policy. I'm trying to think of some English, the languages, like anything that's humanities based, it's not science based. Is considered to be the School of Liberal Studies. Although if you were to major in bio or chemistry, something like that, you would fall under the College of Arts and Sciences. Yeah. Other questions? You're welcome. I know UC San Diego got me about to switch coast for real. It was beautiful.
Beautiful campus.
Maybe it was the beach that did it for me, but
it's gorgeous. Couldn't imagine studying and looking at that water all day.
I couldn't imagine it because it wouldn't happen. Prestige is an interesting word. I mean, it depends on what you value as a student. What do you mean by prestigious? Like, are you referring to like some rankings? Are you referring to, and even rankings are subjective depending on the school of study. Can you give me a little bit more information about that?
You may want to go back and look at CU Boulder from last week. I'm not sure if you were on there from last week. But based on that, just little information we just found out, you may want to go back and look at CU Boulder in Colorado.
That, and I also just want to make it clear, it's about what you do with that experience at the school. You can go to a school, you can go to Harvard, but if you don't make good use of that time and master the information in the way in which you should, then you won't look qualified to anybody. So, you know, I think it's great to like look for schools that are like highly ranked in certain programs, but you also have to think about how you function as a student. And the spaces, like large versus small, urban, rural, suburban, like you have to consider all of that when you're making a decision about a school. Not just, oh, this one is top ranked for getting people into, you know, this school has the most astronauts that ever, you know, that ever existed. So I'm going there because I think it'll do a better job of preparing me. That's not it. At least that's not the most wise way to approach this process.
Well, it's a piece of it. You just want to make sure that you're checking all the boxes, so that you're going to a space that you're going to be able to thrive in. Good questions, guys.
I don't know about most unique, but UVA is pretty much known for its history, is known for its reputation. It's one of the oldest schools in the nation outside of the Ivy Leagues. It's considered to be like a public Ivy, but I don't even know what that term really means. But I mean, it's known for its history, it's known for its gorgeous campus, and it's just known for its selectivity, getting in the door, and also creating an environment where students really flourish. One of the big parts of being at UVA, which wasn't mentioned in the tour, I was surprised, was the honor system. UVA prides itself on its ability to create a community of trust. So when you complete your application, there's a question that says, you know, that explains what our honor system is. And essentially it means that you will not lie, steal, or cheat while you're on campus or in the UVA community. And when agreeing to that, that means that, you know, I should be able to leave my purse in a library for days and no one will touch it. It was just something I had to get used to after I graduated, because I'm like, I can't just leave stuff everywhere and not have any real responsibility. Also, you could be away from campus and need a cab, and you can call and you can say, on my honor, I'll repay you if you don't have the money. And they will give you a ride back, and on your honor, you're expected to pay them back. It's really, the honor system is really big. So if somebody violates the honor system, they are brought before either a jury of their peers or a jury of honor councilmen, who then decide whether or not it was intentional, if you lied, stole, or cheated intentionally, and if you are found guilty, you have 24 hours to leave campus, and you may not take your credits with you. So it's really serious. The single sanction is really serious, but we take the honor code seriously.
They had a second piece to your question based off of something you mentioned at the top, when you answered that.
Low acceptance rate because of school. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that UVA is known for its low acceptance rate, and that they're very particular. They don't just accept everyone who applies. They're very selective about the students that they admit to the school. That's something to consider when you're applying, so you know about your chances of getting in. But again, you need to judge the school environment apart from what the acceptance rate is.
Good. I think with CU, the most unique thing is probably its location. Being right downtown, I've seen a lot of downtown campuses, and it a lot of times just feels very commuter, but the way Denver downtown is set up, it's very nice. There's a lot, probably more grassy areas than you would probably imagine for a commuter campus. There's a lot of activities, and then a lot of the local downtown businesses get involved and are very welcoming of the campus. So it's a little bit of a different feel. I think that beginning of that video, it was kind of choppy. So it was a little hard to see, but it's really cool just to be able to walk and go like sit on a patio, be downtown. And then it's really good too for a lot of students, like if they're working or doing internships, it's just a walk away, and we're located right by the 16th Street Mall. So there's a lot of access right where you are, but you still feel like you're on a college campus when you're on campus. So that's nice. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, downtown and being on campus. Like I said, I've been to a lot of downtown campuses, and a lot of them just feel like very industrial and businessy. But this one actually feels like a campus. So I think that's probably the most unique thing with CU Denver. And so their motto is "See you in the city." So they're very good too with creating that culture and still having the clubs, even sports and things like that. So it's still very much like being on a traditional campus sometimes.
I'd be curious to see that in person, because I've seen a lot of like urban schools like in the middle, like VCU and Temple, that are like in the middle of a city, and so sometimes you can't tell the difference between the campus and the school. So I'd be interested in seeing what that looks like to create that.
Yeah.
Dorms and housing. Dorms for first year students generally are like hall or suite style dorms. They're co-ed by floor. So it's usually boys on the bottom, girls on the top floors. And I mean, all first years are generally required to live on campus unless you live really close and you can apply for an exemption. Then there are other types of housing, like the international student housing, the foreign language housing, where you're required to speak whatever language is in that house, like the French house, the Spanish house, the Russian house. Also, they have the Hereford College for Sustainable Living, where they really focus on like the green living. They have upperclassmen dorms that are more apartment style, and then you have the historic lawn, which is exclusive for 50 or so odd graduating fourth years to live in the original housing that was conceptualized by Thomas Jefferson, built by slaves, but conceptualized by Thomas Jefferson. It's considered an honor. It's a long application process to live on the lawn by the rotunda. And I think that was in a nutshell. I'm like, did I miss any of them? No, I think that's it.
Any other questions?
Yes, any. What I appreciate about the UVA tour is that it only covers Central Grounds because we don't have the time or the energy to cover the other parts of grounds. What are the AP requirements? I think you should talk to an admissions counselor about the specifics of that. I do know that UVA accepts admissions credits, but I don't know. I mean, it like will give you AP credit for certain courses, but some courses require you to have a 5, some they'll accept a 4 or a 5. So you should talk to the admissions person about the specifics.
Same. Yeah, it's just going to depend on how you test at the end and what the requirement is, but they'll accept them.
But they won't accept anybody's English credit as an English credit. That's the one class that they will not accept. You have to take English on grounds. And if you do have an English class, like in my case, I took English at the local community college while I was in high school, it'll count as an elective. So at least you can still use it. You just can't use it for English. Any final questions? You guys are holding on. I'm like, they must have some questions or they're waiting on some answers. Well, if there aren't any questions, we'll wrap it up. As Monique said, you're welcome. As Monique said, I'll be sending out a follow-up email like I send out every time. Tomorrow?
We'll see you next week.
Next Wednesday. I'll send up a follow-up email with direct links to the admissions pages, the tuition information about each of these schools, and then by Friday, as I do every week, you'll have information about next week's tour. So thanks again for joining us. You guys have a great afternoon.
Bye, guys. Okay,
Yeah, girl. I was like, y'all can chill all y'all want. You probably walked away from a computer, but let me help you get out this this tour.
That is so funny. All right, another one on the books. Girl.
Hey, that ran long.
It ran really long.
I remember I kept looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, it's after 4 o'clock. When we were going through yours, I was like, oh no. Well, anyway, girl, I'm exhausted.
We went through it. Yes, go get some rest. It's 5 o'clock your time.
Indeed. 5:05. It's more than just 5. It's 5:05. I need to reclaim my time.
Get off. Check out.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, girl.
Bye.